Well, hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Wild Your Garden. And in today's video I want to talk to you about one of my favourite herbaceous perennial plants, and that is this absolutely gorgeous Honesty, which is a biennial, so that means it will take a year to develop. It's basal rosette, which is the leaves at the base of the plant, before it then flowers the next year. So the same as foxgloves, viper's bugloss as well, plants like that that obviously have a 2-year cycle. They'll then, of course, once they've flowered, they'll produce a seed and die, and that's the end of it. Unfortunately, because I absolutely love this plant, and as soon as I plant one in the right spot, it seems to sort of spread itself around the garden, which is a wonderful habit of this plant, of course. Now, you can actually see the seed pods. I'll put a couple of clips in now. You can see the seed pods already forming on this. This has been out for a week or two now, at least I would say, and it's now the middle of April. These plants will be flowering from sort of early April, and they are a wonderful plant for so many insects and a lot of bees as well, actually. Now, I absolutely love them because they are the larval food plant, or one of the larval food plants of my favourite butterfly, which is of course the orange tip. So absolutely love these things. And you can actually see here, if I just gently tease one out, you'll probably recognise them more from these gorgeous silvery seed heads, which are last autumn seed heads which were left on by the clients, and rightfully so, because then these of course drop of their own accord through the winter months, drop down, and you can see actually, I'll just take this one, and there is still a seed in that papery, lovely kind of papery feel to it, really sort of silvery. So again, on a previous video I'd done about how and when to prune your herbaceous perennials, the best time is obviously in the spring, which if you haven't seen that video already, do check it out. I haven't just given away the point of watching the video, by the way. It is that, you know, there's some pros and cons as to when you should prune herbaceous perennials, so do check out that video. I'll put a link in at the end of this one. But these lovely silvery papery sort of seed heads, they actually have like a double layer to them. So you can see on this one, if you actually peel it back, you know, you can see then the seeds, well, 3 layers, sorry, they have like a central film, then one either side. And if you peel that back, usually there's 2 or 3 or 4 seeds in the middle, usually about 4 seeds, which is a just wonderful plant. And obviously they make a really nice bit of foliage through the autumn months, so that's why, again, another reason why I like to leave these plants, herbaceous perennials, through the autumn months, so that they can then obviously drop their seed. I'm going to give us a bit of something to look at as well. But as I say, I'll put a clip in now, because you can see the developing seed pods of these plants, which of course will happen once they start to flower. This seed head, by the way, I ought to say, is not from this plant. Obviously this is from another plant that was situated very close, and these are therefore the offspring of these plants. So yes, really wonderful to see. And of course, you know, a magnificent plant in terms of nectar. I had a brimstone on here yesterday, which I'll put a clip in of now. One of my favourite springtime butterflies, but also the orange tip, which are just starting to emerge now. They're usually early April into the middle of April when they're coming out, so they're just starting to emerge. But it's such a good plant because for the orange tip, it is a nectar source for the adult butterfly, but also a larval food plant, as I say, where the caterpillars will eat these seed pods. I'm told, and I believe with not as much success as the garlic mustard, which is behind me. So you can just see the white flowers sort of coming up there. Garlic mustard, one of my favourite native wildflowers, again biennial, so a shame. But why do orange tips pick biennial plants? I've just realised that. Something I'm going to have to look into. Anyway, the garlic mustard, really great as a plant. I'll be doing a full feature-length video on the garlic mustard and all its uses. But to be honest, I mean, you can see, look at that there. It's just absolutely fantastic. Garlic mustard and Honesty in a bed. This is my perfect kind of herbaceous border, and this is south facing as well. I mean, it's late in the afternoon now. If I'd been trying to film this much earlier, the sun would have been quite sort of glaring in my eyes. So nice time of day to film. But of course this is then south facing that way, so a perfect spot. Insects love to stay warm, of course, when they are nectaring, being cold-blooded animals. Now, Honesty itself will grow in a lot of shade. It's very, very good at spreading through some shady areas. I've seen some on the sides of the road along here, which look absolutely fantastic, and also in a little village nearby where it's kind of spread itself through a woodland. So it really is a fantastic plant, and one that you can quite often sort of have a bit of a dearth one year and then a boom the next, because of course they are biennial. So unless you plant successionally, you know, year after year for 2 or 3 years, chances are, a bit like foxgloves, you'll get a bit of a boom year and a bust year. So if you can, plant them 2 years in a row, because I absolutely think they are just the best colour of a garden that you can have in a garden at this time of year. They're very similar in colour to the Bowles Mauve, which is again one of my favourite herbaceous perennials, which is a longer lived perennial, this obviously being a biennial. I may have referenced it earlier in the video as a perennial, but of course it is a biennial. So I'm really just absolutely overwhelmed to see this amount of Honesty in one patch. It really is fantastic. Such a good source of nectar. So I strongly recommend you get some in your own garden. They are absolutely brilliant. The best way is, because so many places don't actually stock them. I mean, garden centres, I doubt very much will stock them. We unfortunately don't stock them on the Wild Your Garden shop. To my knowledge, I will double check, or do check the Wild Your Garden website, but they are obviously grown by seed quite easily. So the best thing to do is just get a few of your, you know, if your friends have got any, get the seed pods in the autumn and just sprinkle them in some compost. They'll grow almost anywhere, so they don't need a lot of care and attention. So a really good plant, and one that is very good for a lot of nectaring insects at this time of year. So Honesty, if you haven't thought about getting some in your garden, I strongly recommend you do so. Thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate the support. Feel free to give the video a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll be sure to bring you many videos on all the ways in which you can help wildlife in videos to come. Thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.